Hello, I'm ETarte, once a Catholic priest for 5 years in the 1960s, now an atheist, which means I find no credible evidence for the existence of any God. Annie, the devout Catholic lady with whom I have dialogued from time to time, posted on her Facebook page an explanation of hell. In this explanation, her God is compared to light, and the absence of her God is compared to darkness. Accordingly, if a person is united with her God, that person experiences light and becomes accustomed to light. But if a person is separated from her God, that person is in darkness, becomes accustomed to darkness, and cannot tolerate the presence of light. By extension, concerning life after death, heaven, which is being in the presence of her God, is likened to light, and hell, which is separation from her God, is likened to darkness. So, if a person at death is accustomed to light, that person will naturally end up in the place of light, heaven. But if a person at death is accustomed to darkness, that person could not tolerate light, so he or she naturally goes to darkness, which is hell. And it is not that Annie's God sends the person to hell. It is the person's own choice. The person sends himself or herself to hell by having chosen darkness. Annie says that this explanation of hell makes sense to her, and she hopes that it makes sense to me. Well, it does not make sense to me, and I will now give you 3 reasons. First, it does not adequately express Catholic teaching on hell, the teaching that Annie's church requires her to accept. I know what the Catholic Church's teaching on hell is because I was taught it in the seminary, studying to be a Catholic priest, and I was a Catholic priest for 5 years. The Catholic teaching on hell is that hell is a place which the Catholic God created, to which he sends people, and where he subjects them to severe, endless torture. And after Judgment Day, this torture will afflict not only their souls, but also their bodies. The metaphor of simply comparing hell to darkness does not come anywhere near to the horror of Catholic teaching about hell. And the horror of hell, as taught by the Catholic Church and in other Christian denominations, is something that many Christians with a sense of justice and basic decency feel compelled to rationalize. My second point, Annie, being a devoutly religious person, necessarily bases a large part of her life on faith, which is acceptance of religious statements in the absence of credible evidence. But I, an atheist, strive to base my entire life on reason and evidence, not on faith. If we are going to use an analogy of light and darkness, I see faith as resembling darkness and reason as resembling light, which is apparently very different from Annie's position. And my third and final point, Annie's God, the Catholic God, is the God of the Bible. And the God of the Bible, the God of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Judges, the God who created the New Testament hell, is manifestly an evil God. Referring once more to the metaphor, her God is therefore a God of darkness, which makes the Catholic heaven comparable to darkness. This, of course, is the exact opposite of Annie's position. As a devout religious believer, Annie apparently cannot and will not accept the fact that the Bible is permeated with evidence that the biblical God is evil. So the bottom line is, I completely reject the explanation of hell that Annie posted on her Facebook page and that she has been hoping I can accept. I do not believe in her God or any God. There is a very long list of gods that I do not believe in. And by the way, my list is almost identical with a very long list of gods that Annie does not believe in. I do not believe in heaven or hell or any conscious existence after death. I treasure my life, convinced that it is the only life I have, and I am trying to make the most of every day of my life that remains. To all of you, thank you for watching this video.